that'll take us on to The Flash issue 64. Mark Waid writing with Greg LaRocque on the art. This is the third part of the year one, the Born to Run story.
Yeah, I'm pretty positive on this. This is probably the best issue of this arc so far.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know if I would have said that necessarily, but yeah. I think what I like about the opening is that it does a really good job of just sort of getting you up to speed. Like, it's not too recappy, but it does do enough. Like, 'cause obviously we've read this a couple of weeks ago. If this had been a month apart, I'd have really appreciated this page just to reestablish, okay, here's the main beats here. And then...
It's a sort of thing that I wish they would almost edit out some of this for the, for like, if you're reading it just as a trade.
Oh, no. Oh, God, no. No, because, like, for a start, we're reading this every 2 weeks, so I still want this. But
I'm reading it as a single issue, so...
Yeah, and I don't want to, like... I want to have the option of reading it exactly as it was, even if it's in trade. I want the option of just recreating the experience. That should be up to me, not the editor.
I get that.
So, yeah, so it teases Mirror Master again. We get Wally learn to vibrate through things, but he's not doing very well. There's a great sequence here at the start.
Destroying the wall.
Yeah, there's a great sequence here at the start where the Barry's giving him the pep talk, he's instructing him, and we get it's almost in slow motion, essentially, where we see him vibrate through the wall, you see the fingertips come through, then his whole body, he smiles thinking he's done it, and then he turns around, the page turn happens, and there's a human-shaped hole behind him. And Barry's like, well, that's an improvement, because last time it blew up. So, step in the right direction. But no, it teaches some things like the summer's almost at the end, so he's going to be going home soon, and various other things like that. He's not really impressed with Barry. He thinks Barry's boring, and Flash is trying to kind of like no, Barry's a nice guy.
He's full of surprises. You should give him a chance.
Yeah. There's a nice little page that sort of recaps, and not even just recaps, but gives us more of the crime wave, because obviously some time has passed, and this idea of these like doppelgang like crimes where the same like criminals have been doing this, and then there's been these weird cases where a doppelganger was like in the bank and like transferred money and then just disappeared, and it's like, what's going on? So that was a nice page to bring us back up to speed. If I have any complaints about this issue, very minor, but I have one complaint here. Wally goes to Iris's place of work to hang out, at the news office, and for some reason there's a really weird panel where it's like showing her legs in fishnets, like as like the main focus of the panel, with Wally like standing behind her, and I'm like, why is there like a sexy introductory shot of Iris when it's her nephew who's a 10-year-old is coming to see her? It was just weird.
I get that. The only defense I can even give it at all is that at least it's from our perspective and not his.
Sure. Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like he's the one looking at it that way, because we're looking at it.
Of course, yeah.
So that's the only thing. That's the only way I can defend it even at all. So it doesn't become that creepy.
It's just unnecessary. There's just no reason for it.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's unnecessary.
Yeah, it's so weird. But I mean, if that's my only complaint, then we're doing well. But basically, Wally sees something here. He sees like there's a story about this computer or sort of this.
There's a physicist, which I remember because he spots that he did a whole paper on this guy, and he knows that no, his dodgy eye was his other one, not the one that's in this picture.
Mm-hmm.
But he still doesn't know how to say physicist.
Yeah, but he's basically he figures out, because he says, oh, the eye patch is on the wrong side, and Iris is like, oh, well, sometimes the photographer will flip the image by accident, it's not a big deal. But then he says, but library in the background is not spelled backwards. It's that's normal. So then he's like, and I like how the narration box here is like bing, and then he sort of says library isn't spelled backwards. It's like bing bang bang. It's literally bells going off in his head, and he realizes this must be Mirror Master. It has to be, because they're all mirror images. They're not perfect copies. They're reflected copies. So he speeds off to where this physicist is at this thing getting these papers, and
he does call Flash first and tells him to meet him there.
Mm-hmm. But apparently the Flash in the early 90s wasn't quite as quick as he is today, because I feel like Flash now would just be there instantly.
No, I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt in this case.
Okay.
But in the sense that Barry's entire shtick is he's always late, even though he's the Flash.
Okay,
and
all right.
This is kind of an extension of that.
Okay, I can get behind that. But the guy's running off in the car, and Wally has to make the choice. Like, do I speed after him, or wait for Barry. If I wait for Barry, then I'm going to lose the car. But if I speed after him, I can get there. And he actually steals, like, I mean, we don't get to see all of it yet. It just sort of implies it, where he looks over like a policeman wearing a hat, and he's like, unless, because he's like, how do I leave a trail? And we don't get the payoff until later when Barry like, follows the trail later, and it's just a big pile of hats. Because that was set up last issue, and to be fair, it did remind us of it this issue as well, just in case you'd forgotten that there was a whole thing where he stole someone's hat when he first got his powers. So
yeah, and Barry's like, well, I managed to teach you not to do that, so I could teach you anything.
Yeah, but Wally finds this secret base. The Mirror Master's got shielded with what else but mirrors to sort of make it look invisible, and he goes in, but he gets trapped in the mirror world a little bit. It falls through this mirror. Obviously, Mirror Master's put him in there, and then Mirror Master, monologues about how he's going to trap Barry. I mean, not doesn't say Barry, obviously, doesn't know who he is, but he's going to trap the Flash, yada yada yada. And Barry runs in, gets electrocuted in the trap, and Wally gets so pissed off that he uses the vibration technique to get out of the mirror, and is so angry that he comes flying out. And you can actually look, there's a great panel here where Mirror Master looks up and he looks kind of scared as he's looking over his shoulder. It's like, oh no, I've pissed this kid off. And he's basically beating the living piss out of him, and he, to the point where he might have ended up killing him if Barry wasn't there to stop him.
Yeah, I mean, there's even a narration saying, he never knew how close he came to never waking up.
Yeah, and I think that makes sense that, in his early stage of a career, he's not necessarily learned restraint yet. He's not really...
I mean, he's a 10-year-old, so...
Exactly.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt on this one.
Yeah, like, I'm not critiquing him for making this really bad choice because he's 10 and, like, he's not grown up yet. He's not went through the part of his life where he'll have that opinion. But Barry stops and says, no, I knew that was a trap. I actually got here sooner than I appeared, and I was listening to everything. So they've captured him. They drag him out, big pile of hats, fun little visual gag. And notably, Wally's carrying the hats on the way back, so they're actually giving everyone their hats back. just in case you were worried that he was still stealing hats. He's giving the hats all back.
I mean, to be fair, it was a good cause if they hadn't found the people to return them to. I'm sure Barry would have understood.
But on the way, Wally collapses in pain, and they go to his grandfather, who doesn't know he's Wally. He keeps his mask on, but his grandfather, Ira West, and he checks him out and hears about how he got his powers, and basically says that because Barry got the accident when he was fully grown, it's different from a young boy, and his body has reacted differently, and unlocking the final power of the phasing has basically made the speed kind of... Basically, whenever he uses it, it'll hurt him, and it'll cause tremendous pain, and could possibly even kill him. So his running days are over. It's kind of like, it's that scene you get where like an athlete's told they have to stop being an athlete because it'll, it's too much for them now. They're 45 and like, no, you've had too many injuries over the years. You can't do it anymore. And it's soul crushing because that's what they do. That's their life.
Yeah,
it's that.
But it's a 10.
But he's 10. And that's the ending. That's the cliffhanger where he's just like heartbroken because he thinks he can't be Kid Flash anymore. This is an interesting thing to put in the middle of a year one for Wally, because obviously we know this isn't going to last, because like A, it's only halfway through the story, but B, he's Wally West, he's literally the Flash right now, he has to overcome this somehow. But it's a nice little swerve so that it's not just a straightforward, oh, he got his powers, he trained for a bit, and that was it. There's something else to it.
Yeah. I do feel like this is a bit that I've seen like 2 or 3 times at least in Wally's history, where you can't use those powers or they'll kill you. It's been a recurring theme. I'm sure I've read something before this run when he was still Kid Flash, where that was a thing, and obviously where we had some stuff more recently in I think it was in the Titans book, where it was his heart that was going to give out. It's been a thing that they've brought off and on for Wally. Yeah, it's a theme that for some reason they keep returning to. But I mean, I think this one works quite well because it's this wrench in what, in theory, on paper, should be a really straightforward story, and it kind of throws this swerve in the middle of it to make us go, oh, how does this get solved? How does this get resolved? Because we know it has to, but it gives it this extra twist. Because I think when you're reading issue 1 and even issue 2, you're probably thinking, oh, the whole 6-issue story is going to be set in this summer. So it's actually quite surprising when you get to issue 3 that, oh wait, we're right at the end of the summer now already. And he's got this problem now. He can't be Kid Flash anymore. So I feel like they're taking the idea of year 1 very literally.
Yeah, we're getting.
This has been maybe the first 3 or 4 months, but okay, we've got more to go.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be the full year. I don't remember it being the full year, but like, yeah, we're going to get more in the summer certainly.
Yeah.
So, no, they were good. Art was good again. I think the standout for me was probably right at the start when he was like going through the wall. That was like one of those, much like the baseball sequence from last issue. It was kind of another really well told sequence, like panel to panel, and then the page turn at the exact perfect moment for the payoff.
Yeah, it's the timing of it. I'd be really interested to see the original script to see how broken down that was panel by panel from Waid, or if that was LaRock kind of bringing that choice himself. Because obviously it completely depends on the writer in circumstances like that as to how they've scripted it. Sometimes they'll be just like, well, I need, handful of panels showing this sequence and leave it up to them. Other times they'll be very specific as fingers this panel, then this panel, and so I do wonder who that came from.
Yeah, no, I'm a bit curious. What are you giving it?
I'm going to give it a straight 8.
Yeah, I'll give it an 8 as well. I think I like issue 2, or the previous issue, more than this one, but this one was still very, very good.